Welcome to EurekaFest 2021. I'm Michael Cima, the faculty director of the Lemelson-MIT program, and I'm very happy you could join us today. We're thrilled to be able to celebrate an outstanding group of young inventors and educators. Our 2021 high school invent teams, their teachers, and collegiate student prize winners. I'm an inventor and was one well before my first patent. Problems said to be too expensive, too complicated, or even impossible to solve were fair game. And I found myself drawn to like-minded people. No doubt you had a taste of that this past year with your InvenTeams projects. As we've seen this past year, invention is critical to solving the world's problems. There's nothing more fulfilling than creating something that solves those important problems and ones that benefit the entire world. And that's what we're here to celebrate today. We're also celebrating more than a quarter-century partnership with the Lemelson Foundation. We began in 1995 with a very generous gift from Jerome and Dorothy Lemelson, and that bestowed the first $500,000 Lemelson-MIT Prize, which celebrated a mid-career inventor. Since then, we've had the privilege of supporting and celebrating hundreds of inventors, both young and old, from grade school to high school to college and beyond. Inventors whose aim has been to make the world a better place and who have done just that through their hard work and perseverance. The Lemelson-MIT program has been going strong for 27 years, thanks to the initial vision of Jerome and Dorothy Lemelson and the ongoing support of the Lemelson family and others affiliated with the foundation, all of whom are committed to working to improve lives through invention. I'm especially grateful to have known Dorothy Lemelson. She touched so many lives here at MIT and throughout the world. We honor her memory today and that of her husband by continuing to celebrate and create national visibility for the incredible achievements of our young inventors, the 2021 InvenTeams and Student Prize winners. I'm also grateful to the Dean of the School of Engineering and the MIT community that continues to support our program and the students we serve, of course. We have received an unwavering support from the campus all these years. And now I'd like to introduce our first guest, Carol Dahl. Carol is Executive Director of the Lemelson Foundation with a background in discovery sciences, innovation programs, and global health and development. Dr. Dahl leads the foundation's work in cultivating impact inventors and supporting systems that allow invention-based businesses to thrive. Prior to joining the foundation, Carol was a founding director of the Global Health Discovery Program at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, where she led and developed the Grand Challenges in Global Health and Grand Challenges Exploration programs. Previously, Carol served as vice president for strategic partnerships at a startup diagnostics company. And from 1990 to 2001, she worked at the U.S. National Institutes of Health in several capacities, including founding director of Office of Technology and Industrial Relations and at the National Cancer Institute, and the program director for National Center for Human Genome Research. Carol has received numerous accolades for her work. And it's also important to point out which school she went to, because at MIT, or as an academic, I always focus on that. She received a bachelor's degree from the University of Iowa and a master's and doctoral degree from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Welcome, Carol.
Thank you, Michael. It's great to be here today virtually with all of you student inventors and your parents, teachers, advisors, and others in your respective communities who have supported you on your invention journey. I want to congratulate all of you on your accomplishments this year, which are even more impressive given the ongoing disruption caused by the pandemic. You've had to embrace new ways of learning and working collaboratively in both virtual and hybrid classroom environments. To get to this point demonstrates your exceptional commitment, creativity, and agility, and is at the heart of what it means to be an inventor. All of you embody our founder, Jerome Lemelson's vision of what it means to be an inventor. It's remarkable what you've accomplished, and that's what excites us at the Lemelson Foundation and our partners at the Lemelson-MIT program. Our mission to improve lives through invention starts with our commitment to ensure future generations of inventors, such as you, can thrive. To support programs that give students the chance to experience invention and discover the passion for seeing and solving problems, just as you've done, and to feel empowered to continue as agents of positive change throughout the rest of your lives. Which brings me to the story of the Lemelson Foundation, Jerome Lemelson, and our partnership with the Lemelson-MIT program. The Lemelson Foundation was established by Jerome Lemelson and his wife, Dorothy, more than 25 years ago with a mission to improve lives through invention. Jerry, a true visionary and one of the most prolific independent inventors of the 20th century, had more than 600 patents to his name in all kinds of fields. He recognized the importance of invention to the US economy and had seen the importance of it in meeting social needs. In launching the foundation, Jerry and Dolly committed to supporting future generations of inventors so their ideas could be nurtured and translated into business opportunity and products that improves people's lives. Our partnership with the Lemelson-MIT program began over 25 years ago, which tells you how core the work of Lemelson-MIT program is to Jerry's original vision and the founder's mission. As Michael mentioned, Dolly Lemelson, one of our founders, passed away recently, and we're really feeling the loss. She attended EurekaFest every year she was physically able to do so. It was one of her most favorite events. I know she would be so proud of you and all you have accomplished, and so pleased that our support was able to help make this possible. The last 18 months have been difficult, and I hope you and your families have stayed safe and well. COVID has really put a spotlight on the importance of the role of invention, at least when it comes to addressing healthcare challenges. Think of the modern day inventions we now see in the headlines every day: diagnostics, personal protective gear for health workers, and vaccines, just to name a few. In fact, several of the Lemelson-MIT Prize winners that Michael mentioned earlier were the early catalysts of the biotechnology industry and the scientific inventions that led to our ability to deliver these vaccines, COVID vaccines, so quickly. It really drives home the point that inventions are key to addressing our challenges both today and in the future. Invention is also a catalyst for economic growth, good jobs, and better lives. Invention is really essential to the future we all want, and we at the Foundation believe we need people prepared to invent and systems to support them to take their ideas to reality. That's why we're so passionate about the work to grow the field of invention education, of which the Lemelson-MIT program has been a cornerstone. The truth is that finding your own ability to invent through experiencing invention is so powerful. All of you that are here today to celebrate your InvenTeams accomplishments or collegiate inventions are living proof of the impact of having hands-on invention experiences. We've heard from so many InvenTeams students over the years that the experience has changed their lives, that students feel empowered by the opportunity to choose to solve a problem that is meaningful to them, find a passion for the practical application of STEM and business, and embrace the skill sets and mindsets that will enable you to thrive in the future economy and the jobs of tomorrow. Your work, whether it be to address an environmental, health, or safety issue, has been truly impressive. Over the past year, I hope that all of you have experienced the excitement of honing in on a challenge that is really meaningful to you and your teammates, the thrill of seeing your idea work for the first time, and the sense of empowerment that comes from having positive impact on others. We're also so excited about celebrating the incredible young inventors we recognize today with the Lemelson-MIT Student Prize. You have each taken really daunting problems, and through your ingenuity and persistence, created inventions that will clearly have big impact for now and in the future. You are an inspiration to all of us here and the students that will follow in your footsteps. I just want to say how incredibly impressed I am by all of our young inventors here today, representing InvenTeams and the Lemelson-MIT Student Prize winners. You are the change makers of today and the leaders of tomorrow. Congratulations, we celebrate you.
Thank you so much, Carol. You are an incredible role model to me and to so many. So appreciate having you with us today. Everyone, I'm Stephanie Couch, the Executive Director of the Lemelson-MIT program. Our program thrives because of the tremendous support we get from our faculty advisor, Professor Michael Cima, as well as Carol Dahl and the many others from the Lemelson Foundation. We also thrive thanks to the incredible educators across the United States who've taken up the call of Invention Education. So I'd like to take a minute and just share this very short video with you that features some of the incredible educators who are moving our whole field of invention education forward. So let's take a look at this video.
If you're going to teach STEM well these days, you're going to have to approach students with real-world applications.
Invention education it's sort of like problem-based learning. Here's your problem. How are you going to fix it?
And this becomes self-motivated because they're invested inside the problem they're trying to solve.
Doesn't matter if the solution is right or wrong, that's where the learning happens.
I really believe that invention education covers all the parts of STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
We're really trying to apply all of those years of education that we're putting our kids through. Because in some ways we go 12 years of teaching our students how to hammer, but we don't teach them how to build.
It's not teaching them how to solve one problem, it's teaching them the tools so that they can analyze, know what to do, and apply it to anything.
My teaching was transformed completely. I never understood what invention really actually meant until you actually see it happening right in front of you.
It flips the classroom totally because you are no longer the sage on the stage. You are the guide by their sides.
It lends back creativity. For me, it breathed life back into my practice. I now lead every single unit or module off with a design challenge where they explore, they collaborate, and then we come back together and look at the details.
I want to equip my students for those jobs of the future that I don't know what they are, but I need them to have the skills to adapt and to change.
Invention education is the bridge between acquiring those skills and applying them to solve problems that they care about.
I've always felt my job is to teach them to think, to teach them to problem solve, to teach them to persevere. And having that ability to think about something critically and not be afraid if you're going to fail or not fail.
And I found that instilling that in my students will really help them develop as human beings. We want them to not only be great citizens, but global citizens and change makers all around the world.
The change that I saw was my students felt empowered. They felt that they can do this. They found the internal drive that they didn't think existed. And that's what education is all about, persevering.
Wow, I find these teachers so inspirational, and I'm so grateful that we get a chance to work with teachers like this. I'm now pleased to introduce Rob Schneider, the Senior Director of Strategy for the Lemelson Foundation. And before joining the foundation, Rob worked with the U.S. Agency for International Development, creating a public-private partnership between the USAID, Fortune 50 corporations, and philanthropic foundations. He led USAID's impact investing and entrepreneurship initiatives as the division chief for global partnerships within USAID's Global Development Lab, where he created and managed the Partnering to Accelerate Entrepreneurship initiative to support local entrepreneurs around the world. So welcome, Rob. Glad to have you here.
Hi, Stephanie. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. It's an honor to be here.
So Rob, I hope somebody warned you. You know that many people take road trips in the summer. So I'm going to be taking you on a quick tour across the United States so you can visit some of the amazing places we've been able to impact through our collaborations with invention educators like the ones that we just showed in the video.
But Stephanie, I thought we had a EurekaFest presentation to do right now.
Oh, yeah, Rob, but look at this map of the United States. Multiple colleges and universities across the country produced the Lemelson-MIT program's 120 individual collegiate student prize winners. So wouldn't it be great to go and visit some of these places, and we can discover how all these folks are helping young people learn to invent?
That would be great, Stephanie. I love road trips, and we could take a road trip to visit all the 270 high school invent teams that have produced working prototypes of inventions over the years since InvenTeams started in 2003. This map seems to show invention is everywhere.
Yep, that is true. If we've learned one thing over these past 27 years, it is that invention is everywhere, and that all young people can learn to invent if they have access to the opportunities for learning, the ways that inventors find and solve problems that matter.
And we have a ton of young inventors with us today.
Absolutely. Our 2021 Invent teams, our student prize winners, and the educators that have worked with these students come from all over the country. They are making impacts on states from east to west. All are part of our growing effort to bring more people into this world of technological innovation and finding new solutions needed to tackle the complex challenges that we face in today's world. So let's go on a quick spin and visit just a few examples of the people and places who exemplify what Invention Education and the movement is all about.
All right, let's do it. I've got snacks and I've got my sunglasses and I am ready to go.
All right, Rob, I'm catching up with you here. Just a sec. All right. So let's start right here at MIT in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Ta-da! Here we are at MIT's iconic Killian Court. Did you know that Jerry Lemelson and his wife Dorothy invented the Lemelson-MIT program at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology in 1994? So that's 27 years ago. The InvenTeams students and even some of the student prize winners weren't even born then.
I do remember 1994. It was the year Friends premiered on television and the year I graduated from college.
That's right. And I was sporting the Princess Diana haircut. But enough about that. Let's get back to MIT. MIT is among the top universities in the United States in terms of the percentage of patents being produced.
Yeah, that sounds great. And MIT has also produced a lot of Lemelson-MIT student prize winners as well.
Yes, the student prize was only open to MIT students when it started in 1995. And then in 2014, it became a national competition. Now, for a little trivia to spice up this long car ride.
Well, Stephanie, you know, I am always game for a game, but only if they're prizes.
Well, of course, for every question you answer correctly, Rob, you'll get 100 bragging points. And the person with the most bragging points at the end wins, right?
I suppose that's true. I was kind of hoping for a new Tesla, but I guess bragging points will do.
Yeah, we're going to have to increase the grant budget for that. But as we journey to the southern state of Maryland, I'm going to invite all of our audience to join in our trivia game. Other than MIT, this university in the state of Maryland has produced the most Lemelson-MIT student prize winners. So let's see who in our listening audience may know the answer. For everyone watching on the web, please choose the answer that you think is correct. After MIT, which school in Maryland has the most student prize winners?
All right, Stephanie, have we given people enough time?
I think so. Let's keep going, Rob.
All right. Well, I am going to say that D is probably not the answer, but I will guess C.
C is correct. There have been 5 undergraduate student prize winning teams from Johns Hopkins, including the Enerva 2021 winners here with us today. They invented a device to help amputee patients experience less painful recoveries. Way to go, JHU students.
Maryland sure is producing a lot of great young inventors. So where do we go next on this journey, Stephanie?
Well, let's keep moving down the East Coast to North Carolina. Last summer, the Lemelson-MIT program teamed up with a certain biotech company with locations in Massachusetts and North Carolina. We joined forces to offer a free virtual summer invention lab program to 400 high school students underrepresented in STEM. And we're working with this company this summer to offer the same program to a different set of 400 students. Do you know which biotech company we're collaborating with? Come on, our audience, let's help us out here with the answer. Is it A, Biogen, B, Pfizer, C, Moderna, or D, BioHut?
All right, Stephanie, well, I'm thrilled we are in my home state of North Carolina, so I know the answer to this one. It's Biogen.
That'll be 100 bragging points to you, Rob. Don't spend them all in one place. Biogen and Lemelson-MIT not only run the Summer Lab program, but we also created Biotech in Action Global this spring and are offering invention and biotechnology seminars for teachers and students worldwide. We even do it in multiple languages of Spanish, Portuguese, and English. So the program offers insights into ways inventions support the work of scientists, chemists, materials scientists, biologists, and vice versa.
That sounds great. Lemelson-MIT is really helping students get on a pathway to inventing through the Invention Education program.
That's right. We've been teaching young people how to think and work as inventors since we started the InvenTeams Grants Initiative for high school students way back in 2003.
And I understand there are 12 US patents that InvenTeams have earned.
Yes, and that brings us to our next location in the Midwest. Here's a photo taken from this state today. Just kidding. But they do get some bad winter up there. And this state has seen 11 InvenTeams, 2 of which have received patents. Can you guess which state we're talking about? So let's go to poll 3. Is it A, Wisconsin? Is it B, Minnesota? C, Michigan, or D, Arundel?
All right, Stephanie, well, among the answers, I am pretty sure that D is the Norwegian-inspired kingdom where Disney's Frozen takes place. So that is not it, but I am going to go with A then, Wisconsin.
Oh, sorry, Rob. It's actually C, Michigan. The 2016 Williamston High School Invent Team and the 2016 Stockbridge High School Invent Team both received patents for their inventions. And both schools also hosted Invent Teams again in 2020 when they held a joint mid-grant technical review where they were joined by 2015 Student Prize winner Josh Siegel, who's now an assistant professor at Michigan State University. We also have an Invent team from Michigan here today from the H.H. Dow High School.
Well, that's great. Well, as a proud graduate of the University of Michigan, I am happy to see invention pathways intersecting in Michigan.
Yes, indeed. And I say we just keep trucking now to our next destination, somewhere a little bit warmer. Okay, here we go. Did you know that in 2012, we launched a junior varsity invent team program for after-school enrichment in grades 6 through 10 in 4 states. And one of those states is our next stop. It's Texas. KIPP Sunnyside High School in Houston was instrumental in piloting our JV InvenTeams program. And the school participated in the program for 2 years. And then some of the students went on, as we had hoped, to receive an InvenTeam grant at the high school level in 2016. Their invention received the attention of the mayor of Houston and the governor of Texas. So let's see if you know what infrastructure problem the 2016 KIPP Sunnyside High School InvenTeam sought to fix in their city. So get ready, guys. It's our next poll. What infrastructure problem did the 2016 KIPP Sunnyside High School invention fix? Was it A, potholes, B, damaged bridges, C, frayed power lines, or D, hey, where's the fake answer this time?
All right, well, since we're on a road trip, I am going to guess that the answer is potholes, the problem everywhere around America's infrastructure.
You got it, Rob. The InvenTeam made a semi-autonomous robot and an asphalt patch compound to repair the cracks and the potholes in the roadways. The city and county agencies responsible for repairing the city streets were so impressed that they asked to buy the compound.
Wow, that's a tremendous success story about how Invention Education can really positively impact the whole community.
And we have 2 InvenTeams from Texas this year who are here today from the Energy Institute and the Gilbreth Reed Technical Center. Go teams.
Well, I've never been to Texas, Stephanie, but I hear they have great toast. Sorry, that was a dad joke.
Yeah, that's going to cost you about 200 bragging points, Rob. So I think we need to keep moving here. I feel that the hot sun here in Levine, Arizona, right outside of Phoenix. This is home to an impressive group of InvenTeam students and their teacher, Shelly Myron, at Cesar Chavez High School. So can you guess which items in this next poll is true about these students and Shelly? A, they were one of the first InvenTeams to be invited to the inaugural White House Science Fair in 2010. B, Shelly and students from the InvenTeam received a United States patent for their motorized physical therapy chair in 2014. C, Shelly, the InvenTeam educator, is also a Lemelson-MIT master teacher. Or D, all of the above.
All right, I think that's probably enough time for folks to put in the poll. And you know, Stephanie, I would not be as good at standardized tests if I didn't answer D every time it was available.
You are correct. Those are all true. Shelly and her students put in a lot of hard work to receive the InvenTeam grant, build the physical therapy chair, and prepare for the White House Science Fair, and file for and receive a patent. Wow.
That's right. And after all that, Shelly still continued to volunteer her time as a master teacher for Lemelson-MIT, helping to mentor both InvenTeam teachers and students, and does a great job doing it.
We are so grateful to Shelly and to all of our educators who work so tirelessly, especially over these very taxing past few years. This includes after-school educators too, like the ones in our next stop, which is my home state of California. Did you know that we collaborated with the California after-school organization Think Together to pilot Invention Adventures, a new program for students that builds hands-on STEM skills, lets them experience teamwork, and learn a little bit about the work of inventors while they create an invention and have fun in the invention process.
I didn't know about that previously, Stephanie, but that sounds like an amazing experience.
Okay, viewers, do you know what was the culminating event for the Invention Adventures students this year? Was it A, science fair at the California Science Center, B, the California Invention Convention, C, EurekaFest, or D, a pizza party at California's Adventure Park? Boy, those all sound pretty good.
You know, Stephanie, all of those do sound like a lot of fun. And as my kids reminded me, because they went to California Adventure Park in last February, right before the pandemic shut down, I would totally go with the pizza party at the California Invention Park, but that seems like a trick answer. So I'm going to go with B, California Invention Convention.
There you go. You're racking in those bragging points, Rob, because B is correct. LMIT signed on to be the main sponsor of the California Invention Convention, a statewide invention competition that is part of the Invention Convention Worldwide, powered by the Henry Ford Museum. LMIT also started the Massachusetts Invention Convention this year, and we held it for the first time. And I'm proud to say we have students from both of those going to the worldwide finals next week. So another fun celebration of invention that folks can participate in.
That's wonderful, Stephanie. I also have a fun fact that has been helpfully provided by the organizers today, which is that after Massachusetts, California has the highest number of invent teams, and there are 2 this year, from the Archer School for Girls and Quarry Lane School, bringing the total number of invent teams from California up to 23, which is a lot of invent teams in one state.
Yes. Oh, it was so fun to watch them yesterday presenting. Just loved it. And let's not forget that there are 2 2021 Student Prize winners from schools in California, Mira Mufarish and Paige Balcom, bringing the total number of California-based Student Prize winners up to 6.
Well, I guess you could say, Stephanie, that Lemelson-MIT is really making an impact from coast to coast as we travel across the country.
And our invention road trip would not be complete without landing in our final stop of Portland, Oregon. Though on the other side of the country from MIT, Oregon is near and dear to our hearts because it is the home of the Lemelson Foundation and all of you who provide the support we need to carry out the work we do every day. Thanks to the Foundation's ongoing support and our collaborations with educators across the U.S. seeking to invent new approaches to teaching and learning, Invention Education is thriving. We stand ready to work with any and all who take up this cause. Thank you, everyone, for taking this road trip with us. And if you are not already working with us, please get in touch. We would really love to help you bring Invention Education to your hometown. And now we'd like to move on to the part of the event where we formally acknowledge and celebrate the hard work and achievements of our young inventors. Joining us now is Tony Perry, our Invention Education Coordinator who supports the invent teams throughout the year and helps them work through the invention process. Tony, over to you.
Thanks, Stephanie. I would love to first start our celebration by looking at a short video we put together so that all of you can glimpse what it was like to be an invent team this year.
I think invention is important because it gives people hope.
We're not making progress if we don't invent.
It's hard work that makes things happen. It's hard work that creates change.
What I'm looking at when I see you is a future that's very positive for our nation.
I want you to imagine being in a world where it is almost impossible to communicate your exact thoughts with another human being.
Over the past decade, it's become abundantly clear just how critical our planet's environmental crisis is.
In this competition, we made a drivable robot that could read ice thickness.
We were given the task to create some sort of device that helped clean boots for firefighters and EMT workers.
The Middleton High School Invent team will design and fabricate an automated medication dispenser for use in senior homes.
To pick up medications one by one and deposit them at the funnel on the right end, where our device's user can pick them up.
The team has been working with Courage Kenny, which is a rehabilitation institute in Golden Valley, Minnesota. To help some of their patients, we are making a robotic arm to help people that have limited mobility with everyday tasks like pressing an elevator button.
Our mission statement was to create an affordable method to collect and transmit environmental data from nearshore locations that can be used in educational along with environmental assessment of marine ecosystem.
So the problem that we intended to solve with an invention was city mosquito populations and sewer gas emissions.
Our device is based off the design of a sprinkler system. It has the ability to rotate 360 degrees and uses 2 infrared cameras as an extra fire safety precaution.
Our device centers around the most prevalent cause of interactions between police and civilians, a traffic stop.
Here's the issue. Astronauts on the International Space Station where they're close for a while until they get all grubby and stinky. When they're done, they throw them away and let them burn up in Earth's atmosphere because they have no way to wash them.
Okay, hear me out. Hear me out.
Huge thanks to Lemelson-MIT for making this happen.
MIT gives all students a fair chance to access these amazing resources to actually create an invention and help people.
We're cheering you on from Cambridge.
This year, we had 13 Invent teams and all across the country who picked problems that were near and dear to their hearts. Sometimes they solved problems that affected a family member, a community member, a classmate, and one team even was working with our astronauts. Yesterday, we got a chance to hear all of your fantastic and wonderful presentations. And I'd like to spend just a minute to celebrate all of the Eureka moments that each individual team had along the way. Let's start on the West Coast and work our way back to Cambridge. And the first team on the West Coast is the Archer School for Girls, located in Los Angeles. They invented this amazing device that integrated app design, computer vision, hardware, software, everything in between to keep their homes safe due to the wildfires there in Southern California. In Northern California, we had the Quarry Lane School, located in Dublin, near the Bay Area. They worked hard all year to invent with their intended beneficiary and really make a difference to make sure that everybody could fully participate in sports like basketball. As we continue to make our way east across the country, we next go to Texas, to the Gilbreth Reed Career and Tech Center, who did just a fantastic job of coordinating with partners at their tech center to identify a real need and problem that firefighters face. And it turns out that it was really beneficial during COVID to keep those boots of our first responders clean. And then continuing to move in Texas, we had in Houston at the Energy Institute. This team did such an amazing job to think about how all of the 3D printing that they do in their engineering classroom affects global issues, and working to solve that by coming up with a way to efficiently recycle that 3D filament waste. Going in the center of the country still, but going north, we have Bram High School, who had this great project in partnership with NASA to understand the real needs of the astronauts and how to keep their clothes clean and all the parameters you need to invent something that can one day be used on the International Space Station. And just down the road, St. Anne's Benilde, who again had such a fantastic partnership with Courage Kenny to really understand the needs of how being able to do a task like press a button to get into an elevator was so empowering, to use technology to give people that kind of freedom and independence. In my home state of Wisconsin, we had the Amro High School Invent team, who could tell you all about Eureka Moments, because they worked so hard and tried dozens of different technologies, but have really found a novel way to figure out how thick the ice is to keep everybody safe up there in the winter. And over in Michigan, the Midlands in Michigan, the H.H. Dow High School Invent team has really applied chemistry and material science to come up with a novel invention that can hopefully keep our sewer systems clean and keep our mosquitoes away this summer. Down in Atlanta, the Drew Charter School Invent team really understood the needs of safety and created this incredible system using AI and machine learning and Internet of Things technology in order to keep civilians safe during traffic stops. And in Florida, the Middleton High School Invent team in Tampa was thinking hard about the needs of our seniors and aging population in the United States and how to make sure that they could get their medicine in a timely and orderly fashion. Coming up the East Coast, getting closer, is the Ridgewood High School Invent team in New Jersey, who combined novel chemistry, mechanical design, and electronics to sanitize water so that campers can always have access to clean water. And the Smithtown High School West Invent team, who worked hard with their intended beneficiary, their classmates, to understand their needs and create new and novel teaching tools so that all students can understand what personal distance and safety means. And finally, here in Massachusetts, the Landmark School, only about 30 minutes away from us in Cambridge, invented a system where they could collect data close to shore and eventually turn this into a citizen science project so that other inventors and scientists could build their own systems and use the data to understand our changing environment. I wanted to share this quote with you from Emily on the Ridgewood High School Invent team. This really sums up so much of the year, so thank you, Emily, for sharing this. There have been just such amazing outcomes from our invent teams this year, from filing provisional patent applications to completing the SolidWorks Sustainable Design Certificate, to our seniors now going off and graduating to do wonderful things. It has been such a difficult year, a year that we never could have imagined, but there are so many just amazing outcomes. So Invent Teams, I just want you to know that we are so proud and we really look forward to seeing what you will invent next. And one last thing, of course, we love to celebrate when our Invent Teams get US patents. A 2018 Invent team from Northeast High School in Southern Florida invented a device to keep the mosquitoes away to prevent mosquito-borne illnesses. Earlier this year, they were granted their US patent, and I really look forward to seeing which of the Invent teams from this group we will celebrate in a few years. So thank you, Invent teams, congratulations. And Stephanie, I will hand it back to you.
Thank you so much, Tony, for giving this opportunity to learn more about the 2021 Invent teams and their amazing inventions. I just really appreciate all of these teams and the work that you do, Tony, to work with their educators. Seeing what they've done is always the highlight of my year. It's so inspiring and energizing. So congratulations to all of our high school inventors. We hope you keep going when you move into college. Keep inventing. Speaking of which, we're going to now move on to our next level of young inventors, our student prize winners. So I'd like to introduce you to Janelle Semecki, who manages our Lemelson-MIT Student Prize program for collegiate inventors. Janelle has been influential in supporting and encouraging our collegiate prize winners throughout the prize application and award process. So Janelle, over to you.
Okay, hello everyone. As Stephanie mentioned, I'm Janelle Simecki, and my primary role is having the pleasure of managing our student prize. It's really been such a wonderful experience getting to know our student prize winners over the past few months and learning more about their projects. And you'll see this year's winners are such an exceptional group of students, and I'm so amazed by their talent and motivation. I believe you'll definitely continue to see even more great achievements from them in the future. So just to provide you with a brief background, the Student Prize is a national competition with prizes awarded annually to graduate students and undergraduate teams who have technology-based inventions in each of our 4 categories. So we have Cure It for inventions related to healthcare, Eat It for food, water, and agriculture, Move It for transportation and mobility, and Use It for consumer devices and products. So this year we awarded 7 total prizes, which were given to 4 graduate students and 3 undergraduate teams. And so in order to give you a brief overview about our 2021 Student Prize winners and their inventions, I'm now going to show a short video that's compiled from the videos that they had to submit as part of their finalist applications. So without further ado, I present to you our 2021 Student Prize winners.
My name is Nicole Black, and I am an inventor in the Lemelson-MIT Student Prize competition. My primary invention is Phonograft, and Phonograft is a novel 3D printed device that matches the architecture of the normal eardrum. And your eardrum can become damaged through a variety of mechanisms, including ear infections, sticking cotton swabs in your ear canal, and blast injuries. And Phonograft is unique because once it's implanted, the material begins to degrade and become replaced by native tissue, matching the circular and radial structure of your normal eardrum to enable sound conduction at both low and high frequencies. So chronic eardrum perforations happen to about 30 million people worldwide each year. And of these people, only about 10% of them undergo a tympanoplasty surgery to repair their eardrum. A lot of these patients are afraid of general anesthesia and being in the hospital for a long period of time, or cannot access a trained ear, nose, and throat surgeon or hospital setting for these procedures. And so Phonograft is unique because it can be placed in a clinic setting without general anesthesia while still using the same billing code. So hospitals can be reimbursed for tympanoplasty procedures to the same extent while lowering their overhead costs and allowing surgeons to do more procedures per day. And so this could potentially open up tympanoplasty as an option for millions of more patients worldwide each year. Currently, we are finalizing the device architecture for Phonograft, and so really we hope to get Phonograft into the hands of ear, nose, and throat surgeons to use this with patients within the next 2 years. Through novel materials and 3D printing approaches, I am aiming to create a world where we can program the eardrum to heal itself following injury.
My name is Miriam Mufaraj, and I'm an inventor in the Lemelson-MIT Student Prize competition. Pregnancy can be a time of major change. To make sure both mom and baby are healthy, doctors can use tools like ultrasound imaging to get a basic idea. But these tools provide an incomplete picture, and what's missing, like a mother's risk of pregnancy complications, can prove deadly. So how do we monitor these complications? I built powerful new diagnostics that combine cell-free RNA measurements with statistics. Cell-free RNA is the subset of RNA molecules in plasma, the liquid portion of blood. So far, we've developed 3 new tests using a small, routine blood draw from a pregnant mom. The first can predict how far along a pregnancy is with about the same accuracy as ultrasound. This has promising implications for an inexpensive test that can be used in the field as opposed to in a hospital. The second can predict a person's risk of preterm birth up to 2 months in advance of delivery. Preterm birth is the leading cause of infant death, and it affects 1 in 10 people worldwide. And right now, there's almost no warning sign for preterm birth. Doctors still just guess if you're at risk. The third can predict a person's risk of preeclampsia in the first trimester, whereas it's usually diagnosed in the third. Preeclampsia is a multi-organ syndrome that affects 1 in 20 people in the US, like Serena Williams and Beyonce. It also disproportionately affects Black mothers in the US. And yet, if we can predict it in the first trimester, doctors can prescribe a drug to reduce one's risk of ever developing the syndrome. Millions are affected by pregnancy complications every year. Globally, there's a $3 billion market for such tests that is covered by insurance and growing at a rate of 17% per year. Large-scale preclinical validation of this work is ongoing at Nearby, a startup based on this technology. Diagnostics like these empower patients and providers, which means healthier pregnancies and healthier babies.
We are Enerva, and we are inventors in the Lemelson-MIT Student Prize competition.
There are currently 20 million peripheral nerve injury patients in the US, and in cases of severe trauma such as amputations, the damaged nerves tend to grow disorganized nerve tumors or neuromas that cause debilitating pain and are prevalent in up to 80% of amputees, leading to a $27,000 cost burden per patient. Existing interventions either cannot prevent neuroma or stifle recovery. A promising approach known as targeted muscle reinnervation, or TMR, sutures the severed nerve to a smaller motor nerve. This facilitates reinnervation for neuroma prevention and has been demonstrated to be highly compatible with advanced prosthetics. However, the size mismatch between the severed nerve and motor nerve still results in a significant failure rate, with 30% of post-op patients experiencing neuroma.
To combat this failure, we have developed a conduit device that solves the issue of nerve size mismatch. Inspired by the simple funnel, our device is composed of an outer polymer scaffold and inner biological gel. The scaffold, made from electrospinning a biocompatible polymer, may be molded and crimped into an adaptable funnel shape. The gel, made from a proprietary nanofiber hydrogel composite and biological nerve inhibitor, reduces inflammation and biochemically guides nerve growth. When combined together, the gel and scaffold form a device that is the first of its kind to both promote functional nerve recovery and inhibit neuronal formation.
We put our nerve conduit to the test in a pilot small animal in vivo study. Our data shows that our device leads to tapered reinnervation without neuroma formation and supports better axonal guidance and muscle function. We are targeting a $2.7 billion nerve injury market, specifically the 185,000 new amputees each year in the US, combined with 7.8% of the existing 2 million amputees who require repeat surgery. We are Enerva, and we are dedicated to rejuvenating the lives of nerve injury patients.
Hi, my name is Hillary Johnson, and I'm an inventor in the Lemelson-MIT Student Prize competition. My invention is a centrifugal pump with adaptive geometry that changes the volume of the pump in real time to match the flow rate of the system. This improves pump efficiency, operating range, and reliability. Pumps are integral to daily life. Centrifugal pumps move fluid through our industrial and municipal systems, including clean water distribution, wastewater treatment, crop irrigation, oil and gas production, and pumped hydro energy storage. Centrifugal pumps consume 6% of US electricity annually, which is equivalent to the energy output of 56 Hoover dams. Systems have variable flow. For example, in residential areas, the flow rate is higher in the mornings when people take showers, and often lower midday. A significant source of inefficiency is that pumps have limited adjustment to meet this fluctuating demand. The Department of Energy estimates that 10 to 20% of energy could be saved by operating at the best efficiency point. Using fluid fundamentals and experiments, I showed that varying the pump geometry in response to this fluctuating demand enables best efficiency operation across a range of flows. Then, using precision machine design principles, I invented a dynamic pump mechanism, which expands the pump during higher flows and contracts during lower flows. Our patent-pending mechanism adapts to the optimal geometry for best efficiency. The current prototype I'm testing enables a 6x increase in operational range and can operate collaboratively with variable speed drives. When COVID hit, I couldn't access my experimental setup, so I pivoted and built a backyard testable pump as a scalable template backed by design equations and hydraulic calculations. Now I'm scaling up to 80 gallons per minute for experiments to complete my PhD at MIT. Xylem, a global water technology company with $5 billion in annual revenue, envisions this variable volume mechanism as the first in a new category of adaptive pumps. Working at the water energy nexus, I see how climate change mandates efficient, adaptable, and resilient pump systems at terawatt scale. Growing cities also need expanded capacity for clean and wastewater, and building heating and cooling. Adaptive pumps show potential to improve the efficiency, operating range, and reliability, all with a smaller footprint than equivalent systems. A hearty thank you to all my mentors and partners Xylem for your collaboration.
I'm Ben Johnson. And I'm Zane Zenz. And we're inventors in the Lemelson-MIT Student Prize competition.
Here in Nebraska and around the world, our grain supply often makes stops in on-the-farm grain bins. Grain storage is a vital step in the farm-to-fork process. Unfortunately, as much as 30% of our grain value is lost during storage due to poor management and adverse conditions. On top of this, the dangers of grain bins include farmer entrapment, auger entanglement, and long-term lung damage for agricultural workers.
The grain weevil is a grain extraction and bin management robot. It scurries across the top of the grain, engaging with the grain directly, with its auger drive system and a variety of tools.
There are over 1 million grain bins storing over 15 billion bushels of grain on U.S. farms. Reaching just 5% of the farms in Nebraska alone would create 25 jobs and $7.5 million in annual revenue. We have received an initial investment from Ag Launch 365 as well as a Nebraska prototyping grant. We will begin on-the-farm pilot projects this spring to gather data for implementing autonomous features. Then we will begin our robots as a service model.
As the robot maneuvers on the grain, it increases what is called sediment gravity flow. This requires a robust set of sensors and code to keep the robot on task. Basically, the grain wheel encourages gravity to help us move grain instead of just pushing it around.
The machine seems simple enough, but the challenges to create a mobile robot that can drive on the fluid surface of grain are steep. Putting together a machine robust enough to survive the grain bin environment and accomplish the management tasks required hundreds of hours of testing in the grain bin.
The grain weevil has the potential to not only improve the sustainability of our grain supply, but to save money and lives as well.
The grain weevil is on a mission to become an ag robot that does the work that no farmer should.
My name is Maya Burhan-Burkar.
And I am Seung-Hwan An.
And we are inventors in the Lemelson-MIT Student Prize competition. Our team has developed a hardware and software retrofit kit to make existing power wheelchairs autonomous for use both at home and in hospitals. For people with conditions like ALS and MS, using the conventional joystick interfaces of power wheelchairs is simply not an option. Instead, they must use alternative input devices like sip and puff switches or eye tracking software, which can be prohibitively difficult to use. For these users, as well as those with arthritis, muscle fatigue, age-related hand tremors, and other conditions, we developed our autonomous wheelchair retrofit kit solution. Now let's talk about hospitals. Mid-size hospitals employ dozens of porters whose job it is to push inpatients from their rooms to their appointments in wheelchairs, regardless of whether they're injured. This results in thousands of hours of close proximity contact with patients per porter per year. Since the pandemic began, there have been numerous documented cases of porters being the flashpoints for COVID outbreaks within hospitals around the world.
Juventus is the world's first fully self-driving wheelchair that is solving both of these problems.
By taking in data from a wide array of sensors, the internal computers can then synthesize that data into a map of the environment while simultaneously localizing itself and navigating within that map. To use this, first a caretaker or a nurse pushes the wheelchair around the house or hospital, making a map of the environment and marking off relevant locations with a touchscreen interface. After that, all the user needs to do is sit down in the chair and it will take them entirely autonomously to their desired destination. We have been fortunate to partner with two of the world's largest power wheelchair manufacturers to help bring our technology to market. Our early adopter has been Toronto General Hospital. We have both co-authored a white paper with their director of imaging, validating the market need for our technology, and we are in the process of completing clinical trials as we speak.
My name is Paige Balcom, and I'm an inventor in the Lemelson-MIT Student Prize competition and co-founder of Taka Taka Plastics. I'm working to transform plastic waste into saleable products in Uganda. Uganda produces 600 tons of plastic waste every day, the equivalent weight of 331 cars. Most of the plastic is burnt, releasing lethal carcinogens, toxins, and greenhouse gases. I want to help my Ugandan friends address this massive environmental and public health issue and create jobs for youths who live on the street. Uganda's biggest plastic waste challenge is water and soda bottles made from PET plastic. They're littered everywhere and currently cannot be recycled anywhere in East Africa. Many developing countries face the same problem because the chemical properties of PET make it very difficult to process at a non-industrial scale. After melting, PET becomes brittle and the plastic snaps or crumbles. My invention solves this problem by recycling PET into useful products using small-scale, locally built machines and a process that alters the chemical properties of PET. My design for locally built machines is scalable across the developing world because they're low cost and easy to maintain. Our injection machine design is 85% cheaper than imported equipment. Taka Taka collects plastic bottles, shreds, washes, dries, melts, and molds them into wall tiles that are cheaper and more durable than the current ceramic tiles on the market. Recycling plastic waste into new products is 5.5 times better for the environment than the current practice of open burning. We just completed final product testing, have pre-orders from local customers, and are starting to market our tiles. By the end of 2021, we hope to recycle 9 tons of PET every month and employ over 35 staff. If Taka Taka scaled to all developing nations, the global market size is 3.6 billion consumers. We create over 700,000 jobs for vulnerable youth and remove over 2 billion kilograms of plastic waste from the environment every year.
Well, folks, I hope that by seeing our high school inventors and then seeing our Lemelson-MIT Student Prize winners right afterwards, that you begin to get a sense of what that pathway to invention is all about. And, you know, we work with kids at very young ages, as early as kindergarten, first grade. And you can see through the people who've presented today that you can get on that pathway to invention at any age, and that it is just a process that you go through and continue to grow your skills, knowledge, capabilities time after time. And we're just so inspired every time we get a chance to interact with our high school invent teams, their educators, our student prize winners, and the college and universities that prepare these students to do this kind of incredible work. It's a growing movement, and we invite all of you to be a part of it. So, you know, we can't do this work without supporters. So I want to thank all of the supporters who've made this work possible, and extend a very special thank you to our EurekaFest sponsors, which are the Lemelson Foundation, as well as Prasad Katari. And we thank you to our ongoing program supporters, everyone who makes this possible, and everyone who contributed to EurekaFest 2021. A reminder that you can learn more about this year's Invent Teams and the student prize winners by going to our website at lemelson.mit.edu. So with that, thank you all for joining us today and for being here to celebrate our young inventors who are just really awesome. Thank you all.